edition.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, recants a tale. Yes, a Derek approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
You know, I didn't like the way we were playing in sack, so I just told them, hey, we're going to live and die with me. If y'all, don't nobody like it, sit your ass down right here. Don't come out here, but we coming through me. You know, that's why I like Sam to come in. You know, I let them do their things for 3 quarters, come 4th quarter, bring it to the ticket.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing what a sophisticated offensive game plan looks like. You talk about...
I said, what are you looking at?
He's already hurt.
I'm going to make him an offer again.
Good riddance.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, you can't get fooled again.
Little puck talk. Little hoop action.
Nobody cares.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Yes, I do!
You find this funny, Mr. Groh? You're smiling. Do you find this humorous? No, they're not. Do you find this humorous, Mr. Groh? You're laughing and smiling. I'm just wondering if you do. You didn't answer my question, Mr. Groh. Do you find this humorous?
No, I find it in keeping with 4 years.
At least you're not smiling and laughing now. Oh, I guess you're back at it again now.
Is wearing women's underwear part of your
Back
training?
at it.
Yeah, baby.
What if it worked?
Rosa, you don't know nothing.
Ain't that the truth? Buckle up. Batten down the hatches.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the 4th in the North. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
And technologically, in that this is day 4 or 5 that I will be without hip cricket. For those of you wondering what hip cricket is, it's the app or the company, whatever it is, that provides us with the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. And I need a second authenticator code, and I have to have my email for that. I don't have my email on my phone. And I know, Tenneby, well, he's really not even paying attention right now, but he would just roll his eyes, shrug his shoulders, and shake his head about the inability of me to get my email on my phone. About 6 months ago, 2 people in this radio station tried. I was just explaining it to one of our sales guys, Clayton. He said, I can get it done. I said, how long? 6 minutes. He had to hand it back to me and says, we'll have to work on it after you get off the air.
I always love that one.
I could.
Just for the record, for your email on your phone, you're going to an account executive to help you out.
Well, but they all say it's easy to do. The other 2 were
for like an IT guy or engineer guy.
So everybody that puts their email on their phone goes to an IT guy or an engineer?
Well, no, I just think that would be they'd be the most likely to be able to troubleshoot issues.
I guess. I think they.
Did you try Helby?
Helvey gave me a tip on something else. He knows a guy who knows a guy on something else. No, I didn't try.
Because Helvey helps me with my boomer stuff.
I think Helvey may have been one of the people that tried it not long ago. And 6 months ago, and it didn't work. So again, I know that it's just, let's poke fun at Common again. The boomer can't do anything for himself, and I can't do it for myself. But, when I try to explain to people, maybe it's not as easy as you say it is, and they laugh at me again, and I'm the butt end of all the jokes. But then you come to find out, I'll even go back to when I returned my Apple phone, because it kept saying, shut your apps down. I said, if I haven't turned them on, why do I have to shut them down? You and everybody laughed at me and said I was just a boomer. I said, it's draining my battery. I got a lot of enemies. They're draining all my energies, and my battery was draining because of the apps opened up. And then it was a week later, front page story in the technological news, Apple having to recall phones because their batteries are draining. So it wasn't me. And I went and turned my Apple phone back in. I had it for a week. I was pressured, peer pressure from my boys. They said, well, you got to be Apple. Everything can be Apple. Apple this, Apple that. Well, no, it's the apple of my eye, and apple a day keeps the doctor away. That has nothing to do with it. And I'm sure Apple's a fine product. A lot of people like Apple. A lot of people like oranges. A lot of people like bananas. And yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today, though you were once wearing a pair of banana underpants. Baby Brother Peter said, banana underpants? Really? But that's a whole other story
I
in
always
itself.
love that one.
So if you'd like to contact the Common Man today, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. 1600 Utica Avenue South, St. Louis Park, 341? If you send me a letter today, I should probably get it by tomorrow, and maybe I can have it on the air. That's the other way we're going to do it. Or there's a booth at KFAN.com, which I know you have to do an email now. The text message is the greatest thing. It really is. I remember when text message first came to phone, and the Secretary of Nightlife sent me a text. He was the first person to ever send me a text. And I said, I'm not a 13-year-old girl passing notes in class. If you want to communicate with me, you have to call. And then I finally came around and said it's the greatest thing ever, because then you don't really have to talk to anybody. On yours, do you have, I don't think you do. Let me look. I can check. I can answer my own question. If I send you a text, it just says delivered. You don't have it clicked where I can see if you've read it or not, right?
Yeah, not that I know of.
Oh. Do you know about that function?
Kind of, but I don't do it. I don't partake in it myself.
We'll go to Helvey. He'll explain it to you.
Yeah,
just don't go.
If I wanted to do it, that's where I would go.
Just don't go. But I just wondered if you knew what it was.
Sure.
You do know what it is.
I mean, I don't use it, but yes.
Oh.
I've heard of it, yes.
Because I like it. I like to know if people have read my texts or not. I think a lot of people, I was assuming you were one of those people I'm going to look at it, but if I don't want to respond right away, I can't lie and say, I never saw your text. Well, no, I can tell you saw my text because it said it was read. So that's what people that are afraid of other people about, well, I don't want to respond to them right away, or it's a touchy situation. It's like, well, no, either you read it or you didn't. So with me, does it say on your phone, or is this only a Samsung thing?
It doesn't say on my phone.
That I've read your message?
No.
Oh, really?
Nor do I know if you've read my message.
Oh, I read all of them. I'm Johnny. I rarely don't read. The only time I don't read a text message, the only person that reads text messages more quickly than me is Meat Sauce. You send a text message to Meat Sauce, he will respond. You hit send, within literally 3 seconds, you see those little bubbles, those little dots that come, that rotate around saying, he's typing. Mm-hmm. He already responded to me today. But, yeah, and not everybody has the... And I think the reason is people are, you don't, in case it's a text that you're uncomfortable with or don't have the proper response for, or like, let's say I said, hey, Tenna, how about you and I drive up to Brainerd together? And you're like, if you see that, if I see that you've read it, I know you're thinking about it. If you don't get back to me right away, I know you're thinking, But if it just says delivered and I don't know if you've read it, then you can go, God, how am I going to tell them I don't want to go? What can I do? Oh, I can tell them I'm sorting socks. or I can tell them that I'm watching paint dry, or they're delivering a boiling hot vat of asphalt. I let people know and so anyway, text message is the best thing ever. I just love it.
And you were the last to jump on that bandwagon.
I was one of the very few last to jump on that. Well,
now just think if you could get email on your phone.
As I explained, but here's the thing: if you don't, I mean, you could hit your red button. If you could just put that you've read that, letting the person that sent you an email know you've read it. If you would just put that on your phone, we can go back and forth on that all day. You don't do that. I don't do email because I don't need email other than to communicate with salespeople and clients. And I don't need to have that right away immediately. I just check.
Well, sometimes you might need to have that immediately.
No, I've never had to. How long have we had email? 20 years? I've never had to have one immediately, ever. Never. I've never had a salesperson or a client say, "Didn't you get my email?"
Haven't you ever gotten we have a work meeting all of a sudden that was called on like a half hour before the meeting and it was emailed to everybody and then you don't see it?
I'm not showing up on 30 minutes short notice. I'm not. You plan your meetings earlier.
Well, what if it's an emergency?
Then they're going to have to call me and put me on Zoom because I'm not dropping everything.
Can you do Zoom on your phone?
If I'm out, oh sure, absolutely. If I'm out if I'm on 6-7 over at Prestwick, and my good friend Donnie Lonquist, who runs the place, tells me, got a meeting at 10:30. Well, no, I can't. I'm playing golf. You should have told me earlier. Plan your meetings earlier. So I don't need to have it. I know it probably pains you that you have to have email and I don't. I know that bothers me. Here's another thing that bothers people, that I don't need to prepare for my show. I can just come in and start winging it. And it bothers other people because they have to put hours of preparation into their show. Well, sorry. I'm a natural. Got the first segment killed already. And now how entertaining it was remains to be seen. We'll get a report card in a few weeks and we'll find out.
If only you could read text messages to see how entertaining it was.
Well, I can't because I was given I have to have a second authenticator. When are they going to tell us we need a third and then a fourth? People complicate things way too much, Will.
They're going to get some sort of laser thing on your eyeballs to make sure you are the one that's reading it.
That's exactly it. That'll be the next step. There's so much to get to today, but we're not going to spin the wheel of topic. But there's plenty to get to today. Other side of the break, we'll do a peek at the purple. I want to get back to the Wolves and the board thing. The more I think about it, the worse it gets. And then there's another quote, and then there's the O'Connell stuff with the quarterback. So there's plenty we'll do the O'Connell thing next. I'm just astounded by it. Other side of the break, we'll do a peek at the purple right here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educator shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Did you get a holiday card for meat sauce and Kel sauce?
Not yet.
Mine was hand delivered.
Well, maybe that's why.
Maybe you're not on the list.
Well, he asked for my address, so maybe he's just going to mail it.
He's been mailing in his entire career, so why wouldn't he mail? Close circuit to meat sauce. You're not the first talk show host to have a kid. So we just always say to people. No, it's a very cute card.
Oh.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, love, Paul, Kelly, and Louie. It's very nice. It's one of the things we go through. Do you do this at your house? Since my wife and I have been together, living in sin for about 5 years. Then we got married in 1999, and then we partied like it was 1999. And over those years, we've had a list of people that we send holiday cards to. And every day when my wife starts putting out the holiday cards, it's, do we want to send one to?
Yeah.
Do we want to send one to? And I've slowly but surely whittled away on the list, Enemy, and I think your family's next. Just wanted to say that. No! But, you know, you do after a while, it's like, well, I don't really ever talk to that person anymore. And then there is the point where my wife wants to do a Christmas card with the kids, and I love that. But so when they're grown adults now, when they're, 22 and 20.
Yeah.
Do we really need to
They're going to have their own family soon.
Yeah. Do we really need to send a card? Now, with your kids still, 10, 8, 6? Is that what it is?
Just turned 11, 11.85.
11.85. 11.85 is different. It's, hey, you see the change?
Well, they're changing every year.
Right, yeah. Where with Deuce and Baby Brother P. Did I tell you that? Have I showed you my latest license plate picture? I look like a serial killer, and I did it purposely. The woman even said,
do you want to retake it?
She said, you want to redo it? I said, no, it's perfect. She just kind of rolled her eyes, shrugged her shoulders, and shook her head. So Deuce and Baby Brother Peter fall in. They've followed my lead because of the driver's license picture. Why would you have a big smile on your face? I just what I used to tell the driver. Now I don't even explain it, but I used to tell him, well, no. Why would I smile? Because when I hand my driver's license to the police officer, I'm not going to be smiling. So he's going to go, that's not you. Right? Who smiles and, hey, officer, thanks. Yeah, just what I was looking for. $100 ticket. Thank you. Watch my insurance rates go up. I'm so happy. Going to give you a hug. So you're going to have a disgruntled look on your face. So I want to see he goes, yeah, it matches. That's you. So Deuce and Baby Brother Peter both do just kind of non-committal, kind of loser look, and just kind of with your mouth kind of agape a little bit. Then Deuce says the people in his running group, the people he runs with from high school that he still hangs out with, they all do it. And then they send pictures to each other and collect all the pictures that just look like you're a wanted poster, like a mugshot. It's just the silly things that keep me amused. And speaking of text messages, and using those to gauge whether the segment was good. That's what you said. Well, imagine if you get your email on your phone, blah, blah, blah. Here's what one of my close personal friends who listens to the Grum come heck or high water, and he sent me a personal text to my... Maybe I should just give my phone number out over the air and have people text me during the show. Then again, maybe not. This is what my friend says. Sensational first segment today. My favorite Common Man segments include random thoughts from the one and only. Crushed a segment from can't get into my two-form authentication into texting, delivered versus read, blah, 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 blah. It's called killing a segment. And I mean really killing it. Beating it till it's bloody and there's nothing left in it. Peek at the Purple brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. They wish you happy holidays. They're an electrifying kind of a place. Whatever your electrical needs may be, I highly recommend my friends at Affordable Electric. If you have electrical needs, here's how it works. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And remember, here we go. They are shockingly affordable. Stop it already. So yesterday we didn't have the head coach. Right? Is that correct? Because we had so many other things going on.
Yeah, he was at like 12:15. Well, he was during Gopher Football Weekly.
Yeah, so he was on during Gopher Football Weekly. So we did not have the head coach. But apparently he was asked about, it's official, J.J. McCarthy will be starting his 7th game, his first in a couple of weeks, or is it 1 week? Was he just out 1 week or was he out 2?
He just missed one.
He missed 1 week. Officially his 7th game of his young National Football League career. And we don't know how long that career is going to be. Is the game he's playing this Sunday is at the beginning of his career? Is it the middle of the beginning of the beginning? Or is it possible he's at the beginning of the middle of the end? We just don't know. But the question was asked something about what do you want from McCarthy and what are the issues here? And here's what he said. It's purely about decision making at this point. I want him to have a clear head and a clear mind to just go play. But play with an understanding of the decisions that I make have to be of the utmost importance, because we learned our turnover number is where it is. It's not a winning formula. I don't want him overthinking or worrying about if the fundamentals need to be changed. Let's just make throws. Let's just throw and catch. Let's just play with great rhythm and understanding of the plan. And I hope that works. And that's the approach. And again, look, you and I, Tenneby, were never there during the interviews, or I don't know if he participated in, what do they call that in Indianapolis? Combine. Whether he obviously did a personal tryout and then at training camp and during this. But it's like you would think you would have the technical part of the game already figured out by now. He spent all those years at IMG and he played college football. So you would think he'd have, but apparently he doesn't have all the fundamentals figured out. But the coach seems to be obsessed with eyes and feet and all the fundamentals. And so now he's basically saying, though, just go play. Don't worry about the fundamentals anymore. They've even said they're dumbing down the playbook, not just for him, but for everybody. That was the word one of the Vikings running backs used, was dumbing it down. They've kind of dumbed it down for us. And here's the analogy I'll use, and it might be a flawed one, but I'll use it anyways. Tenneby, the game that you and I both love and adore, golf. You could probably find one, like Freddie Couples, you could say perfect golf swing. And if you could teach somebody to swing exactly like Freddie Couples in his prime, that's what you would do. But not everybody can be Freddie Couples. So, yeah, I mean, one of the weirdest swings of all time, Jim Furyk, right? Jim Furyk had that weird thing with his wrists where he kind of goes like this. And Sergio used to flex his fingers for a minute before he hit. And Tiger goes at it one way and he changes his swing. It's like, is there a one-size-fits-all for quarterbacks, too? Is there only one way to... Look at... Would anybody teach what Mahomes does? Be way down low, like you're... You know, what's that thing where they put the bamboo stick out and you try to go under?
Limbo?
Yeah. Would anybody say, get into a limbo position and roll out right and throw it across your body and see if you can hit Kelsey over there? Well, you would never teach that. But you don't go to Mahomes and say, don't do that. Yeah, that's wrong. You got to be your eyes, your feet, your hands, wrists. Is that let the kid play how he plays. Now you could still, and I know, again, I don't know. We'll see how much this helps on Sunday, a game you'll hear on this radio station, coverage at 10, be here for the pooch at 12. Maybe just telling him to just go out and have fun and play football, play like you used to play. Maybe that will help free him up, and I certainly hope so, because if he is, it's like Tenneby, you and I have talked about this. If you're thinking about swing mechanics on the tee, you're pretty much doomed. You might hit one or two good ones, like he's made a handful of good throws, but most of the time, if he's back there, okay, I got to line up it's going so fast that if he's dropped back thinking, well, I got to have my feet, my eyes aligned, well, he's done. So
you do that during the off season.
Yeah,
you don't do that during games.
So maybe that will help. I mean, last week I was excited to see Brosmer, to see what he was like. We saw that was pretty much an abject failure. That did not work well. Now I am curious to see with this new approach where it's just go out and throw the football, try to complete passes. Maybe that will help. Maybe he'll just go out there and play like Sandlot backyard football league, right? We'll see how it works. Again, you'll hear the game on this radio station if you'd like. We'll take a break. Peek at the Purple brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical need, affordable-electric.com.
Babies cry, and that's normal, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to step away. Never shake a baby. Shaking can kill, and 1 in 4 don't survive. Survivors often face permanent brain damage. Learn more and give today at nevershakemn.com.
Spread swing 1:30. Common 10 to be. The legendary Mark Rosen will be in studio. He actually puts in 3.5 hours a week during the football season because he comes in a half. That's the loyalty and dedication he has. He actually will give us an extra 30 minutes every week for Spread Swing. My firstborn, Deuce, created from my loins. He will join us via that Thomas Edison wacky invention called the telephone. Wolves, it's been a peculiar season to this point. They beat teams at losing records and lose to teams with winning records for the most part. I think there might be one. Is it outlier? That's the word, right? Might be one or two outliers. They may have lost a game to a team with a losing record, and they may have lost a game to it, or won a game against a team with a winning record. But for the most part, that's what's been happening here. In this past 2 nights ago, they beat a really bad New Orleans Pelicans team, in which I think the Pelicans had won something like 3 games leading into that day. Their guy, Zion Williamson, he's the Byron Buxton of the NBA, right? Never plays. Has he ever played more than 30, 40 games in a season? He's out again now. He's never healthy. I think I saw while we were on the air yesterday, they were talking about Williamson, on ESPN on some, NBA Today show or something. And I could have swore what I read, there's like, in his contract, he's got like a weight clause.
That's never good.
No, it's not good when you got to tell a guy, look, it's
like the video game clause for Kyler Murray.
We'll give you 20% more of your, it was broken down how much money he gets, and like 20% of his money is if he comes in shape. How sad is that? You're a professional. They're paying you big money. Don't you want to be in, Doncic finally got shamed into it, right? He got traded because he was fat. That's the reason he was traded. He was fat and couldn't play defense. Now, his remarkable offensive ability, I think, is sort of, you got to take the good with the bad, right? And he was so good and still is so good offensively. You just have to go, well, we have to just accept that he's chubby. Doesn't want to get on the treadmill. But then he did get on the treadmill, and he's playing as far as at least he started the season red hot. I don't know what he's doing now. I know the Lakers are, I think in the latest power rankings that we did not go through Lazy List Radio. Maybe we'll do that before the week's over, because you know me. But I think they're like the third best team. I think that might have been the Athletics power rankings, either Athletic or CBS Sports or ESPN or NBA.com, wherever it is. So he must still be playing very, very well. But after they lost to, by the way, I have a interesting relationship with the basketball community in town. That's why I wish I could get my hip cricket / text messages up and running again, because anytime I pick on the Wolves, I just hear it from 6, 7 people that are like, yeah, you don't understand the game. Why don't you stick to golf, loser? And, you never pick on the Wolves. You never say, or the Wild. You never say the Wild never try. Well, it's because the Wild do try. But I've received some apologies, finally, from the basketball community after, I guess it took a quote from the head coach for people to realize that I've been spot on the whole time. We talked about this quote the other day. We talked about it with Rosen. I think this was, maybe we did this at Toys for Tots, or maybe it was just yesterday. But here's what Finch said. Through one quarter of the season, the Wolves defense has been, this is not him talking, this is the lead up to his quote. This is Fish Wrap Factory West Side. Through one quarter of the season, the Wolves defense has been inconsistent at best. Their number 12 rating is not good enough for the standards they know they can reach. Before the game, Coach Chris Finch used the right word to describe how the team looked at that on that end of the floor. Quote, kind of started the season a little bored. I'll read that again. Kind of started the season a little bored. That's not something that you want to admit to, but a team that's had 2 deep runs, I think we just maybe started the season a little bit flat and bored, and just realizing you got to put the work in. It's going to be tough. West is going to be brutal, and we just had to get back to playing better defense. Of course, then they went out. The story continues. Then they went out and barely played any in the first half, where New Orleans posted 68 points, one of the worst teams in the NBA. And I guess bored is the word I've sort of been searching for, because I'm exhausted by it. It's an exercise in futility, because they don't listen and they don't care what I have to say. They don't even know I exist, I would think. Most of the players on the team. But one of the things I said recently was, it almost seems like if you know you're vastly superior to the other team, you are bored. You don't give it. You just go, well, we can beat this team at any time. It's just another game in the middle of the week. And what I always try to tell them is, but people are paying money. You're an entertainer. You're supposed to give your best effort 3 or 4 nights a week. Do you think the lead playing Romeo in Romeo and Juliet comes in and says, I'm just going to mail it in tonight. I'm bored with the role. Well, no. He puts everything he has into it. You think Chris Hockey goes up on stage with Rocket Club or Flaming Armadillos or whatever band? He's got 5, 6 different bands. Chris Hockey Band, do you think he just goes, I'm going to mail it in tonight. I'm bored. No, people are paying money. Play hard. Just look at the Thunder and just use them as an example of a team that gives everything they got. And it's not just the coach. Quotes from Ant. Let me dial them up. This is from the Athletic story. This is from our good friend, Johnny Krasinski. Here's what Johnny Krasinski wrote the other day. I'll scroll down to the quotes from Anthony Edwards. And by the way, Edwards played brilliantly. I mean, he played the entire fourth quarter. Usually he sits out the first 6-7 minutes of the fourth quarter to get a blow, and then he finishes strong, right?
It was his Jack Morris Game 7 91 game. He refused to be taken off the court.
Except circumstances weren't quite as important as early season game against the Pelicans. But yeah, you're right.
Against the worst team in the NBA.
So the Pels, we call them the Pels. I didn't realize we called them the Pels.
I didn't realize that either.
No, that's what Johnny Krasinski calls them, the Pels. The lack of name recognition in the rotation has been a problem all season for the Pels, but it may have been an advantage on Tuesday. Now, listen to this. These are the kinds of teams that have plagued Edwards in the past. If he's not aware of a player's credentials, that opponent can sneak up on him. Coaching staff, as it always does, provided a detailed pregame scouting report, but the Pelicans' lack of star power seemed to have dulled the Wolves' blade going into the game. Here's what Ant said. They don't have a go-to guy. Everybody out there just playing free, because they don't have a go-to guy. Here's what else Ant said. Finchie told us we can't just wait for the playoffs to start playing defense. You have to tell him that. Because apparently the team thought we can just wait till the playoffs start, then we can start to play defense. And no need to do it now. These 82 games don't mean anything. And again, when you've made deep runs, as the coach said, I guess you become more. I guess it's human nature. Finchie told us we can't just wait for the playoffs to start playing defense. I'm really not worried about it once we get to where we trying to get to. It's now when it's super important. It seems like we don't want to play these games. We just want to fast forward the season to the playoffs and then play all-out defense and play super hard. It just don't work like that. We got to be ready to play on any given night, and it starts with me. I came out kind of sluggish. I'll be better next game. And usually he does. The one thing you can say about Ant, remember, he's been living rent-free in my head for 5 seasons now, because I think to me, sometimes his approach to the game is maddening. It really is. But he is a wonderful talent, as we know. He's a top 10 player, maybe top 5. I mean, there are some people that wouldn't trade him. There are some media people that would not trade him for anybody in the league, including Victor Wembanyama. And maybe they were right, because Wembanyama has been injured. But what's wrong with this picture? It's like I said, I guess it's human nature. When you've made 2 deep runs, another long season. Well, then find a different line of work. Try 10 and B 5 days a week, 50. Well, you take about 2 weeks vacation, maybe 3. Let's say you take your full 4. 48 weeks of the sluggish grind of working with the common man every day. But you give it your best. Maybe you're a bad example. But no, you know what I'm saying? It's like
it should be hard to get up for a basketball game.
No, it shouldn't be.
You're playing a child's game
6 months out of the year,
and you're extremely wealthy.
Yeah, money that will get you to the grave, fool. If you're making more than 30, you're
living the life.
Yeah, and like I say, if it was just pickup basketball where no one was paying attention, well, do whatever you want. I don't care. Right? And who cares what you do? If you and me and Greg Coleman and JG are playing golf and I decide to not try very hard, so it's just on me. It's just a recreational game of golf. It's no big deal.
But you do try.
But I do try.
When I play old men hockey, I give it my all.
You give it your all. You're a sweaty.
And yet, well, I don't understand how. Now, maybe basketball is a little different because, let's face it, only a percentage of the population is going to go play in the NBA because you have to be a certain height. And then you have to have a certain.
How did I get my text messages?
Did you just get it?
Well, it just popped up.
Oh, someone figured it out.
Well, I didn't. So how did it happen?
Probably Helvey or one of the engineers.
Closed circuit to engineers.
Where you should have gone to. Yeah.
Look at this. Me, isn't it a bit pot kettle for Common to call anyone out on lack of effort? Common, this is what he said my response would be. Well, there's that. And it would be. That would be my response. Well, there's that.
But, I don't understand how, to get to the NBA, you have to have a certain competitive fire to you, right? Like, you've had to put in a certain amount of work over the years to get there. And then you get there and you don't give it your all. I don't understand. You'd think your makeup would be, I'm going to give it my all at all times.
Yeah, and like I say, especially when it's 6 months out of the year, 3 or 4 nights a week, 2.5 hours a night, and when you're tired, you put your hand up, they bring you back out. It's fun, it's cool. You're idolized and pedestalized, big money. You're doing Santa Claus. Have you seen his ads? Who is that for? I can't even recall. Ants inside of a sleigh delivering gifts, slam dunking into the chimney. Have you seen his commercial on TV?
I have not.
It's really good. And then people wonder why. Then they say, "Well, I don't know what I'm talking about," and you're wrong. And it's because I know you love the Wolves and you want them, and you've been. And they've brought us to Western nice playoff runs, better runs than we've seen from any team in this, other than the Frost. Gopher women's basketball a few years back when they were winning titles, and the Lynx. It seems like the gals try harder and care more.
The women in the town got it all figured out.
Yeah, they've got it all figured out. Now, why did you take my hip cricket away? Oh, it's back again. Someone says elevate the scrotum. Maybe that's what they need to do is elevate their scrotums before the games.
We received a text from the coroner's office that said, "You're welcome." They also said it was obvious a crutch was needed.
Wow.
I always love that.
Do you think there's another program director in the country who would criticize and demean one of his highly successful, one of his talk show hosts while the show's on and basically tear him apart? It's astonishing to me. Maybe the program director's bored. Maybe he's got some Minnesota Timberwolf in him. He's bored, so he's decided to go after me here on the text message.
Also, what took so long? You've had this issue for weeks.
Well, there's that. Yeah, I've been waiting for someone to help me. I just asked for a little help, a little guidance.
Want to get by with a little help from your friends?
Yeah, I don't ask for much. See, here's one of the hockey community going to be. I'll give this one to you.
Oh, boy.
Again, why doesn't Kaprizov give it his all on defense?
He does give it his all.
Well, he does. He's just not as good a defensive player as some other, but he's more of a forward player.
Well, he's not a bad defensive player.
He's not a bad defensive player,
No.
right? But I mean, it's like
a minute left in the game, they put him on the ice.
Yeah.
So they're not. This isn't like Ovechkin 15 years ago where you're up a goal last minute, they're not putting you out on the ice. He plays quite a bit in those circumstances.
This one says, here you're complaining about the Wolves mailing it in, and you and Tenna can't devote 10 minutes to getting your text message access figured out. That was like coming out of the gates fast. You heard the text message. That's the kind of material that people expect from me. Just a lot of blather about nothing. It's a show about nothing. Seinfeld stole that bit from me, just like McAfee stole the Grum. Seinfeld stole that bit from me. It's a show about nothing. We'll dabble a little in some sport. And we're talking sports right now. And why aren't people on my side on this? If you're a basketball fan in general, and specifically a Wolves fan, don't those quotes, if not anger you, at least mildly annoy you, or at least make you roll your eyes, shrug your shoulders, and shake your head? They're bored. They don't care about these. It seems like we don't want to play these games. We just want to fast forward the season to the playoffs and then play all out on defense and play super hard. All right. Enjoy the process.
This is to the Randy Moss play when I want to play.
Dave Tentis. He's in the White Bear Lake High School Hall of Fame. Played golf at Houston. Played in the Masters. Was on a Walker Cup team. Terrific talent. Just retired. Happy retirement, Dave. Just retired as the head golf professional over at Troy Byrne. Played in a number of PGA championships, including over at Hazeltine. World's caddied for him. Played at Hazeltine, made the cut, blah, blah, blah. And Worlds gave me copied a 10-point reminder list that Dave had. In one of them, to remind him of how to approach a game of golf, because it's such a mental game. And one of them, and this is the one I always try to remember, enjoy the process. Because I don't know if you're like me, Tennessee, a lot of times I'm just so fixated on the final score in that hole.
On results, yeah.
Yeah, what am I going to get? Got to get a par here. Got to get a par birdie. Don't want to make a bogey. And certainly don't want to make a double. Instead of just enjoying standing on the tee and then whispering in the Rube's ear as Tenneby's about to hit the ball. He looks just like, who is it that I always say you look like?
Adam Scott.
He looks just like Adam Scott up until impact. Enjoying the camaraderie with the people and throwing up the grass and looking at the yardage. And you know how when you're getting ready to putt, you kind of shuffle your feet like this? Enjoy the whole thing. Enjoy
Chew your gum confidently while you're out there?
Yes, and try not to squint when the sun is shining. And enjoy writing the scores down on the card. Just enjoy the whole process. And that's what apparently these basketball players have trouble with. Enjoying the process and enjoy the process of the regular season. Enjoy showing up. You know how like you'll see them show up at basketball games or football games. They'll always have the camera out showing them come in. And they're all dressed in the coolest clothes ever, right? They'll have their fashion statement. I mean, they're wearing hundreds of thousands of dollars in clothes. Well, not hundreds of thousands, but they're wearing the latest and greatest fashions, right? They got their sunglasses on and all their jewelry and coming walking in, and they go in and you get to get undressed with your buddies and laugh, and then there's going to be great food for you after the game, and there's somebody there to, if you go, back's a little tight, hey, I'm going to get the massage therapist to work that out for me. Then you get to put on your sneakers and lace them up and joke with the guys, and you go out there, and then the fans are cheering and warm-ups. You're knocking down shots, and it's just like, okay, for 2.5 hours, let's go play. Let's play as hard as we can. The Thunder do it, and they won a world championship. You would think if anybody would be bored, it would be the Thunder.
They should have the championship hangover right now.
Closed circuit to Finch. PA asks Finch on all the time, right? Closed circuit to PA. Can you tell Finch I'll come and talk to the club? You want me? If you want somebody to tell him like it is or how it's supposed to be, I'll do it. And then when they win the ship, I'd hope for a ring. PA's going to get one when the butt. He's going to have to wait a while to get that ring. But no! I would love to be considered extended family member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. But they're bored. They don't even want to play these games. And I know what he said. He said it seems like we don't want to play these games. But sometimes seeming is reality, right? It seems like, well, that's because that is the way it is. You're just denying. That's why I can't get really behind the club. I'd still like to see them win. Maybe they can change their ways, start winning games, start playing more like the Thunder, at least if you give it 100, Tennessee, it's so cliched, right? If at first you don't succeed, try again or whatever, or find it, or cheat, whatever. But if you're at least giving it, there are nights you're not going to have it. The other team is going to be better than you. There are going to be nights where
the shots don't go in.
The basket looks like, there are nights when it looks like a rain barrel. There's other times it looks like a thimble. Same thing in golf, right? When you're putting, sometimes you look at it, the hole looks like a rain barrel. I can't miss. Putting better than 85% of the players on tour. There's other time it looks like a thimble. There's no way that putt is going in. There's no chance. And that happens in basketball. But then you have your teammates to rely on. In golf, it's strictly you. It's not like, I'm going to have 10 to beat putt this one for me. Of course, I don't know if I want him to do that either. But anyway, we'll see if it gets better. Here's this text message that says, tell the Wolves players I'm bored paying hundreds of dollars to go to their games. Yeah, once that starts. We'll break. We'll come back. When we do, it'll be time for 5, 3, 4. Tanner, what you got for us?
We had a court storming last night.